Hey traders from around the world, literally around the world, here in Iceland, and just wanted to say thanks so much for watching this video. You rock.
Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsome with reallifetrading.com. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. SPY on the board. We got a lot of good things to talk about. Realistically, in the broader market, a little bit of volume increase today. There was some FOMC chatter, but nothing too crazy on the markets. This little pink line is just Mr. Squiggles' artwork stipulating that if we do trade down, buy the dip. Made a new all-time high on the SPY today. Market's still bullish. That's pretty much about it. Here's the Qs, and the Qs today closed higher, a little bit of a bullish gap, at least it looks to me. This little limit buy was a trade that we were looking at as of the close of the 11th of December. Filled yesterday, and so again, we're slowly kind of creeping up. So the Qs, good looking trend there, all looks well. Let's hop into some requested stocks. There were a few of them. RIOT, obviously the talk of the town. Shout out to my buddy Charles Wade for snagging over 10 Rs on this trade just yesterday. This pink line is literally the line I drew yesterday, by the way, on RIOT, Riot Blockchain. Very nice retest gap, and, well, we're retesting. Pretty bearish gap today, especially on the 5-minute charts. This was a bearish gap and go. Here's the 5-minute time frame on RIOT, and you can see some nice little choppy rollover breaks that were happening at some point during the day on Riot. But overall, bearish gap, let it pull into some moving averages, maybe even all the way back down to 17.5, and then look to buy the dip down there. Here's ticker symbol LB, which is L Brands. And this is a very, very nice looking trend. This is a swing trade that I did miss out on when I was in Iceland. Very, very pretty trade. Had a gorgeous gap right here. That was a retest gap. We traded sideways into moving averages. We popped, traded back down. On earnings, we got another retest gap. And again, we retested again. Here's where I was going to get in. Now, we did set up an official trade on this in the afternoon trading room. Just never got filled on it. The entry was here. Stop was right here. And we posted that after the close of market on that day, right there. And we missed this trade, the low of this candle. We missed it by about 12 cents, I think. So L Brands, nice looking trend. It's already made its move at this point. So it just retested a week ago. Here's your previous resistance. So if you're not already in, I would just look for another place to get back in on another dip. Right, so there's the resistance, there's the pullback. That's the place to get in about a week ago. You could try it again if it moves back down to that level, though. Something like this, potentially. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if, you at least keep your eyes on it. Here's Macy's, ticker symbol M. And Macy's up 0.5% today. And a little bit of a pennant pattern forming. Volume is declining. Again, this is the season for Macy's to kind of start cranking it out a little bit. Had a nice retest gap a few days ago, and we're just kind of consolidating up here, which is good. So as the moving averages, right, they've crossed. It's bullish. Let this continue to trade sideways. Let the volume continue to taper off. And then on Macy's, if and when she pops, take the breakout. Here's the long-term moving averages. It's above those nicely. So one of two things will happen. Either we'll trade sideways and then continue going higher, or we will retest this retest gap just a little bit more. And if that occurs, buy the dip. Next on the list is ABBV, and ABBV made a little bit of a higher high and a higher low today. I forget I think it was Jackie who was asking about this one in the day trading room the other day. Had a nice little bullish gap about 4 days ago on Friday. Volume is coming in today. This is probably people selling, mostly because everyone who sold there before made money. Everyone who sold there made some money, so they're trying that again. Nice little upper shadow, new 52-week, and I think a new all-time high today on ABBV. So the trend looks good, and if you're not in, look to buy the dip, and or if it consolidates a little bit longer and at some point closes above these upper shadows and gets really proves that it's going to hold that resistance, 99.17 would be a good entry to continue bullish on ABBV. The longer trade sideways, the better. Carnival, CCL, a little bit of a bearish gap. Earnings right around the corner. And here's the long-term moving averages. So we are trading sideways at the moment. Very sideways short term. Long term, obviously, is a little bit more bullish. So I'd probably wait until earnings on this one. If you want to do some type of earnings play, you're more than welcome to. Looks like it's going to be a little more bearish between now and when actually earnings get here. but it is very, very sideways right now, short term. So something like this, and if Carnival gaps up big or gaps down big on earnings, that could cause a fun little move. Likely will probably be a non-event, and if Carnival can trade down here and get down to the $63 area on or before or right after earnings, that would be the buy low location, in my opinion. Here is VRX, and VRX, which is Valiant Pharmaceuticals, having some really good moves. So here's the weekly chart. This is a stock that I was the most bearish on for a while, and it's slowly recovering. I was in some bearish positions and got stopped out of them. Not on this day specifically, but here's that really good volume candle that started coming in on the weekly chart. I was like, all right, well, unless we break below that low of that candle, looks like that's going to probably be the bottom. I mean, that's a lot of volume coming in. You got a good volume spike right there on Valiant Pharmaceuticals as well. So this is the blue line, this 100 simple moving average on the weekly chart on VRX. That's going to prove to be a pretty good resistance. So if you're in the trade, it moved nicely, had a very, very pretty and obvious retest gap action right here. White candle gapping up is a retest gap. There's the trade. There's the pullback. This is the retest. Very nice candle pattern right there. And there was pop number 1, flag pattern, pop number 2, retest, continuation. So yeah, we're pretty much right at a target now on VRX. If you're looking at getting in, hashtag buy the salsa. Next, AVGO was requested. Not really doing that much on Broadcom. AVGO, we are up a little bit today. What I was mentioning actually in Tech Giant Tuesday just yesterday was this is the location if it's going to bounce. This is where. Previous old resistance, boom, boom, boom. Some support right about there. Kind of trading back down to where it was bouncing previously, right? So it traded down to here, traded up, traded back down, and then kind of gapped. A little bit of a bullish gap today, new white soldier candle. Here's the weekly chart on Broadcom, and the weekly looks pretty nice right off the 20. So again, my trend is bullish, be bullish, and if it's going to bounce, it's pretty much now. NKTR was requested, Nectar Therapeutics, which I never know if I'm saying that right, but it's a weird name regardless. Very strong trend. Yeah, you're missing the boat on this one a little bit. White candle gapping up, retest gap. That was the retest right there. Didn't quite make it to the moving averages, but then it starts to pop. Pulled back into the moving average. This was another opportunity to get in bullish. And yeah, trend looks nice. So if it does and can pull back, I would say probably about there would be pretty doable. About $55.20, yeah, $55.23, $55, something like that. If you're not in, that would be a good pullback opportunity, good limit area to look to buy. Other than that, yeah, this is a powerful trend, very strong move recently, a lot of volume, and just interested to see where it starts kind of slowing down and consolidating. Ah, there it is. I was like, where's the resistance? Really strong resistance where we are right about now. So I'll let it consolidate a little bit, let it rest, let it breathe, and then kind of come back to it after a while because this is a really, really strong resistance on NKTR. Two others. Last, silver SLV. Just throwing this one out there, it is back to a very strong support, ticker symbol SLV. So if you like trading the actual metal or just having some coins or buying silver or trading the ETF itself, it's at a spot where it has bounced many times before. Just throwing that out there. Here's Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, and Apple today finished up 1/3%. Here's the daily chart. A little bit of a bullish gap today. My buddy Victor Gonzalez over there in Puerto Rico has a 155 put sale expiring this Friday. This is a nice little pennant pattern that it's still forming. If you hop in here to an hourly chart, decently bullish gap on Apple on the hourly time frame. So if and when we start making some higher highs or higher lows on Apple tomorrow, short-term target would be about 175. But I had someone specifically ask for some fibs. So let's throw those on. Quick shorter-term fib would look something like this. Get down here on this particular candle, get this candle, drive it back down to there, bingo, perfect. So that would be 189.38. Eventually we'll get there. That's why I did the 190 January covered call, by the way. So yes, Apple, longer term, always bullish right now. If it closes above 177.19, we'll continue. And shorter term, she looks kind of bullish to me with a bounce off of this 50. I have one trader I know who was setting up this particular trade, getting in there with a stop right there if Apple were to pull back a little bit more. So we will see. I'm interested to see if the market continues higher tomorrow. It looks like, just from seeing these gaps, that we will slowly keep creeping a little bit higher. Anyway, that's my Wednesday real-life stock review. I did snag about 1.3 Rs on NVIDIA today. So NVIDIA, a little bit of a bearish rollover. Had a new black crow candle right there. And this was a white candle gapping up. White candle gapping up. Retest gap. So it makes sense that it was going to kind of retest. Trade back down to the 100 and then potentially double bottom. So here's the 100 simple moving average right there. The blue line. So my anticipation, ever since this doji, was that NVIDIA would do exactly what it's doing right now. In fact, I had Ricky, one of my buddies over there, well, he used to live in Australia, he's now in Canada, was asking about if this was the bounce on NVIDIA back in here. And I said, yes, I think this is the good area for it to begin bouncing. However, I think you can get NVIDIA at this exact same price later in the week. So this is kind of my anticipation on NVIDIA. We are at a support resistance zone. We traded down to this level, traded back up, probably going to give it a one more go of a shot. If NVIDIA is going to bounce, I think this is how it does it. So this was my 5-minute chart set up on NVIDIA. Let me zoom into here. 5 minutes, just a low of the day break, nothing special. Had a little bit of a bearish movement, traded down, traded up, began to roll over, posted a little bit of a lower shadow right here. Had 2 inside candles back to back. And I said, hey, if this thing breaks lower, it's going to look pretty good. And it did. And does look pretty good. So I had 3.9 Rs. Yesterday I did exit a swing trade today for a loss. Let me look at that one really quick. Alaska Airlines, ALK. So here's Alaska Airlines, and here's the daily charts. And just barely hit the stop. I got out a little before the stop because it just felt like it was going to break down, and it did. So I guess my timing was wrong on Alaska Airlines. So I got stopped out of that for about 0.83 R loss, made 1.3 Rs on NVIDIA, so about 4.3 Rs for the month of December so far. The battle continues. I'll see you on Friday, and until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.
All right, traders from around the world, thank you so much for watching that video. You are outstanding.